guys, Matt from the Big River here. We got more fish to unbox this week. You gonna jump in here, Eric? You gonna name that fish? No help from the audience. All right, here we go. What's in the box? First thing we have is, looks like a giant Daniel, but it is not a giant Daniel. These are Queen Darios or Queen Danios. Divario Regina. Looks a lot, there's actually a lot of fish that kind of look like a giant Daniel. These guys get a little red in their fins, so really pretty fish. A little tiny bit more expensive than a giant Daniel. Very cool. Let's see, next up is some panda cories. Tag's obscured, but I can still tell what I'm looking at because, you know, I've looked at a few cories. Those are panda cories. Restock on those guys. Next up is some rummy nose for the Tetra Special. Looks like a few of them did not make the trip. I'm having a little too many of those not make the trip, but still get a bunch of them for you guys to enjoy. Neon blue rasboras, a Sundandanio goblinus. Great little nano fish. Love those little guys. Very cute. Next up is a red and blue Colombian tetra. They're pretty small right now. They get pretty good size. Deep bodied. They're a Hyphris obercon tetra in the Tetra Special. Buy 4 more, get 25% off for subscribing to the channel. But the red and blue Colombian tetras get about 1.5 inches, 3/4, and a pretty wide body, almost square. Little cichlid, these must be keyholes. Yep, they're keyhole cichlids. Another batch of those guys, little this time. Great little fish. They're in the Acara group. They only get about 4 or 5 inches. You get some nice long fins on them. Very fun, very pretty little cichlid. Phoenix rasboras, back to our nano fish. Phoenix. And we got a bunch of other of the boraras, or the miniature rasboras on this particular order. A whole bunch of really cool bettas on this order. Restocked all the cool bettas, and I'm not going to go through them because we'll be here all day if I did. But suffice to say, if you think mole bettas is mole betta, you got a great time to come get a mole betta betta. Yes, it's alliteration right here from the Big River. Later we'll have really shrimp, and that'll really get outrageous and obnoxious, because that's what we do. Alrighty, next box, more fish. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, first out of the box, must be a discus because it's in a privacy bag. Yep, that's a leopard discus. Got 5 discus on this order if I'm not mistaken. Let's see how they did. That would be red turquoise maybe? They're saying, yep, red turquoise. Look how good that was. I have an idea what I'm looking for, so that makes it easier. But we had a lot of variation on a theme today. Red turquoise. This one is, they're calling it a snakeskin or red snakeskin. Red turquoise and red snakeskin look pretty similar. It's got more of a scribble pattern on it, though. That's when they call them a snakeskin. And let's see, threadfin rainbows. One of my more favorite nano fishes. Little tiny mouths on those guys, long thready fins. That's why they call them a threadfin rainbow. Beautiful little fish. Another really cool Daniel. I haven't had these in a long time. These are the Lake Inley Danios. Beautiful stripes on their body. Remind me of the African fire barb, but more of a blue and pink rather than the red on the fire Danios. Pygmy spotted rasbora, or 3-spot rasbora, Boras maculatus, if you like the scientific name. That's another nano micro rasbora. Speaking of little tiny fish, here's a scarlet batis. Got some flame reds over there also. Scarlet batis are itty bitty, very cool nano, not a cichlid, but they act like a cichlid, little ambush predator. Apparently I restocked a lot of nano fish this week. Must have sold a bunch. Chili rasboras, restock on those guys as well. Another boraras. Not a nano fish. These are albino cories, or the Corydoras aeneas albino. So got some more of those guys for your cleanup crew. And another micro fish. This is a checkerboard cichlid, not a nano, but it's a very small cichlid. They only get to a couple inches. Cool pattern on them. They get some really cool colors in the fins when they get bigger. Not a big fish either. These are the common otto. Great in your planted tank for cleaning up brown diatom algae off your plants without damaging your plants. Great little workhorse. One of the few algae eaters that will touch that brown algae. I did get another betta there I did not mention, but it's so pretty. Well, anywho, let's see, more fishes, more boxes. Let's get them off the floor here. save my back. There's a box of fishes. All right, in the box we have bettas, a whole bunch of lady bettas. These are half moon female bettas. Restock on those guys. Not a betta, these are cichlids, more dwarf cichlids though. Those are the Pistogramma cockatoides, or cockatoides, a cockatoo cichlid. This is a super red variety, coming in a lot of different color variants on the cockatoo cichlid. This is another discus. That would be the snakeskin, or the blue snakeskin discus, as opposed to the red one we just saw. You can see more blue than red. Coleloches, little worms. Didn't get any bandids this week. We had a bad batch come through, so we're kind of dealing with the aftermath of that. But we got black coleloches in this week for your little squirmy pleasure. These should be cardinal tetras. Yep, tank raised cardinal tetras. Nice little batch of those guys. On the Tetra Special, buy 4 more, get 25% off, as always, for subscribing to our channel. Here's some platies, red wag platy to go with our assorted platy collection. And another set of platies. These are sunset platies to go with our platy collection. Next up is another discus. That would be a blue turquoise as opposed to the red turquoise. So we had red turquoise, red snakeskin, blue snakeskin, and a leopard. Who are you guys? A little Hillstream Loach. That would be the brown mosaic Hillstream Loach. Restock on those guys. Sold out the last batch. Got another batch in. And a whole handful of bettas, because having more bettas is more betta. Oh man, there's some nice bettas in that group. Let's see, that's a Hajudagar, or rocket gar. They're actually in the Tetra family. We sell them as singles. They do not get more than about 10 inches, and they are not on the do not keep list for Fish and Game for Washington State, so we do sell those. Let's see, Blue Medusa pleco. I haven't had one of those in a while. Blue Medusa is one of the smaller medusas. They're an Ancestris species that gets a little bit bigger than your regular Ancestris. A regular Medusa can get 8 inches, whereas L144 bush you can get about 5. So a little bigger animal. These guys get more like 5 to 7, as I remember right. And the males and the females both get bushies on their face. So interesting that. Clouded archer, love my archer fish. Those guys do spit up bugs above the water and light speckles or anything else that catch your attention. Another pleco, we got some blue phantom plecos on this order. Got a few plecos on this order actually. Plecos have not been as available as sometimes in the past in the last couple of years, but we still continue to get as many as we can find. Strawberry rasbora, I told you lots of nanofish. These are Boris navius or strawberry rasbora. Probably the closest to looking like a chili of all of them, so a good backup if you don't have the availability for a chili. Red fin sternella, or the L114 pleco, or leopard cactus pleco, they'll call that guy. Beautiful, beautiful fish. I love those guys. Not a bad size on him either. Got some more bettas, because more bettas is more betta. And let's see, more plecos. That's another blue medusa. So I've got a pair of those guys, and another blue phantom, because we've got a pair of those guys. Nice itty bitty blue phantoms. Those will get 8 inches for you also. And like your medusas, are actually a fairly decent algae eater. This is some silver-tip tetras. Apparently no tag on them, but I can still tell you what they are. They are a silver-tip tetra. They are on the special. Buy 4 more, get 25% off. Oh, there we go, a Panodon. These are the African butterfly fish. Got a trio of African butterfly fish this week. I've been selling a ton of them. And you know what? They're a cool fish. They sit right at the top of the water. They do have a pretty good sized mouth, so you make sure you don't put them with tiny fish. Speaking of tiny fish that sit at the top of the water, these are dwarf hatchet fish. I couldn't get any marbles or platinums. We do have platinums in stock, but we were able to get dwarfs this week. First off, they're tetra. They're buy 4 more, get 25% off. But for a fish that'll sit at the top of your tank and fill that niche, they're a very cool choice. Just got to make sure you get small food for them to eat, because they have a tiny little mouth, and they're very good jumpers. So make sure you have a good lid on your tank. All right, that's done. Hopping in, we should have some pond fish this week. Pond season is just getting off and running. We haven't got our pond plants in yet, though we are expecting aquarium plants tomorrow. Won't make the film, but we should have them in the tanks for you. Look at you guys, itty bitty fire eels. Normally get them about 2 to 3 times that size, but I was able to get them at all, which made me happy. So those are itty bitty fire eels. Got some snails here, I believe. I'll go ahead and pop them open and see what we got. Should have some neorites. A couple different types. These are the red spot neorites that we keep all the time. They didn't have any zebra neorites for this week's order, so we doubled up on the red spots. But we also got this guy that we get once in a while. A neat little variety of neorite called King Koopa. Also, they'll call them sea mine. There's a couple other common names for them. But they're kind of a flat neorite. Oh, they're all covered in eggs. But yeah, look at the little spiky shells. Kind of cool. Oops, somebody's not in good shape in there. Ooh, somebody's not good. That's why we like them not shipped in water, because if one of them gacks, it doesn't take out the whole group. But obviously, one of them didn't make the trip. All right, into something not fish or inverts. That's a frog. African dwarf frogs, very popular for your community tank. And if you get them food, they can do pretty well in there. Those guys are something we get on a very, very infrequent basis, a lot bigger than we normally get them in. This is the pygmy sunfish, cool water fish from Florida. Very, very neat fish. Hard to come by. Happy to be able to offer a pygmy sunfish. Itty bitty puffer, that's a baby Fahaka puffer. Oh, he's tiny now. He's going to be huge later. They can be 18 inches. That is not big. So don't be fooled by his small stature at the moment. He is a big fish in the making. Female guppies. Didn't get any males this week. We got a pretty good selection over there right now. But got in a nice batch of ladies to go with all our guys. And that's that batch. I figure out who didn't make the trip with the snails. Ugh. Nothing smells worse than a bad snail, man. All right, next up we have plants. I told you we got plants coming, but that's not what I was talking about. These are some extra large Amazon swords, which are always awesome to be able to offer. But we have a really nice batch of stem plants should be here tomorrow. Feeder comets, got one special order here, and some for stock. Remember, if you need large quantities, we'll give you a little discount for ordering in advance. These are mono shrimp, larges, supposed to be large, not that big, but they're not that small, so I guess they'll work for medium large. Banded sharks, something we haven't had in since last pond season. Banded sharks are a tender pond fish. They're not quite good for our frost zone, so you have to protect them if you're going to do them here in the Tri-Cities as a pond fish. They get big. They can be like this big or bigger. I mean, huge animal. Super, super cool. Hyphen banded shark. They get a few other common names. Chinese banded shark, mostly. Chinese banded loach. They got all kind of different names. All of them kind of have banded loach, shark, or hyphen in the name. Here's those really shrimp I promised you, and I will make no more really jokes. Really. Blue shrimp. We got a nice little batch of those guys to augment what we have, and another batch of red crystal shrimp. So more shrimp for your shrimping needs. And more goldfishes. Here are some small koi. These are 3-inch fancy or domestic koi. Nice looking. I don't know, they might be imported koi. They look pretty good. Either way, pretty decent price on those. These are imported. They're Thai Arandas. Nice confirmation on these guys. Some of them have really good little wins even at this size. So a neat batch of Thai Arandas. And let's see, there's another banded shark. Thought we should have had a fourth one. And here's some dojos. Cold water loach. Likes it in the low 70s. Get big, 11 inches. And last but very much not least, here's some 4-inch Mayan koi. Mayan refers to this color pattern with the black and the gold. A little bit bigger, nicer batch than the last batch we got. Those sold out right away. So those of you who waited for the next batch are going to get an even better group. First thing out of the box, we have baby clown loaches. Remember, clown loaches can get a foot. Big schooling fish, take some room. Gorgeous though. If you take the time to grow those out, you will have an amazing display. Black ruby barbs, a restock on those guys. Got some little ones over there. These ones are a little bit bigger. Still not much color on them, but they will get beautiful. Black with a bright red underneath. Haven't had these in a little bit. Looks like a lot of females in this group. These are koi tuxedo guppies. A little bit of blue in the tails, but still very pretty. Got a couple different premium type guppies. Got him some bettas this week. I'm not going to go through them here. You'll have to come down and take a look at them, but suffice to say, very, very cool bettas. Singapore bamboo shrimp, whatever you want to call them. They're filter feeders, very cool either way. Can go in a community tank without any problem. Zipper coolies, haven't got new ones of these in a while. We got a bad batch some while back, so we're holding off until they look better, and I think they look better. So there we go, zipper coolies, tiny little version of your banded coolie. Only get about 2 inches or even less. Combinados, gotta have them for your planted tank to eat the brown algae off your plants without eating your plants. It's a very cool little algae eater. Tetras, these are red and blue Colombian tetras. Hyphus Obercon Columbus, part of our Tetra special. Buy 4 more, get 25% off just for subscribing to our channel. More tetras. These are your regular old neon tetras. Nothing regular about them. Bright colors, gorgeous. Been popular for millennia because they are fantastic, and they are on the Tetra special. Buy 4 more, get 25% off. One more type of tetra. These are gold tetras. Gold tetras have that. It's like a fungus that grows on them. And it sounds like, oh no, it's terrible. Actually, it doesn't hurt them, but it makes them that bright gold color. If you breed them in captivity, they turn out kind of beige and uninteresting. So anytime you get true gold tetras, or gold tetras are actually gold, they will be wild caught. Very neat little fish. There's actually a few different species that are subject to that coloring. I've seen a few different types. Here's a cool fish. We don't get that often. I make a big deal out of them every time I do. These are the orange fin hill trout, Borrelius ardens. Very, very neat fish. I got a small group of those guys. Next up is some green tiger barbs. Restock on them. Green tiger barbs and albino tiger barbs and other versions of the tiger barb are very popular. Great little schooling fish, a little bit on the nippy side. Here are some more live bearers. These are platies. Got a couple different platy variants today for you to restock our nano aisles, or live bearer aisle. These are nanos. These are clown killies. Clown killies or rocket clowns are tiny little killifish that are very good jumpers. Make sure you have a good lid for those guys. Another type of platy, another color anyway, that's red platies to go with those blue coral platies. Cherry shrimp, no, these are Bloody Mary shrimp. Been having a hard time getting these, so we got them from a different source. A little more expensive than we've been paying. Had to raise the price a little bit, but we got them. Bright red cherry shrimp. Well, again, the difference between cherries and Bloody Marys. The Bloody Marys have the color coming from inside the body rather than from the outside of their shell. Makes them a very, very vibrant color. Here is Kubiti, or Kubotes, Microdevario Kuboti, neon green rasbora. A little easier to say. Very neat. Kind of looks like a lime green neon tetra. We always put those in the nano aisle. Bumblebee gobies also go in the nano aisle. Little guys with a big attitude. They're ambush predators on the miniature scale. Some cool angels. Got a batch of these a couple weeks ago. Sold them out, so we got in some more. These are the red devil angelfish. Got that nice bright yellow to orange color on their, most of their body, really. Beautiful fish. Here's a little loach. These are the multi-striped loach, or pygmy multi-striped loach. Pygmy striped loach, I've also heard them called that. Either way you call them, they're very cool. Only about 2.5 inches. A little bit bigger than a rosy loach, but another miniature hovering loach, which does well in a nano tank. They are a loach, but I wouldn't expect them to be any kind of snail patrol. Just very cute and very neat little schooling fish. All right, halfway through this little order, got another couple of orders I'm expecting. Let's see what else shows up tomorrow. First thing out of this box, got a bunch of discus on this order, and here is one of them. Is that a white tiger turquoise discus? Looks like it's more turquoise than white, but gorgeous. And some spotted pictus cats. I guess all the pictus cats are spotted. There's other types of pimadels that are more stripy. There's actually a big family, but the most common one are those pictus. Here's another discus, a snow white. Haven't had one of those in a little bit, so we got another one. We got a half a dozen discus on this order. Here's another guy. Red cover. Those are sure pretty. We don't get those that often, but we got one for you right there. And we got one more discus. This is turquoise, or red. which one is it? Tiger turquoise. Hey, we've got tiger turquoise and white tiger turquoise, so that's a difference on those. Let's see what's next here. We got a couple more bags in this box. First thing up is micro bumblebee gobies. We got both kinds this time, the micros and the regular dories. So the micros are obviously about half the size. It's a very cool fish we don't get very often. It's a wrestling half beak, or the platinum half beak. They're actually a little live bear, and go in over with the guppies on our live bear aisle. Very neat little fish. Only get about 2 inches. There's a few different varieties of half beak in the world, but the wrestling or the platinums are the ones we see most often. Let's see, got more bags, more fish. Oh, nice. Big black angels, well, bigger than small. Got them a pretty decent price point on those angels, and they're very black, so very excited about that. Celestial Pearl Daniels, restock on those guys. I've been selling a ton of those guys, and for good reason. They're one of the most beautiful and sought after nano fish on the market. Another discus. This is obviously a checkerboard discus. That guy, do we have any other discus in here? Like I said, we had 6 of them on the order. I don't know how many we went through already. Who's in here? Oh, that's that pike. Orange pike, sold one last week, so we got another one to replace it. The last one available until they get imported again, so happy to get that. A couple more gorgeous bettas that I'm not going to look too closely at because I'll end up losing my day to looking at bettas and, you know, looking at fish. It's really not what I do. I talk about fish. So I have to be careful not to lose my day to staring at fish because I'm a fish nerd just like the rest of us and love looking at the fish. These are Sunset Honey Dwarf Grammies. Restock on those guys. Beautiful little miniature Grammie, about 3 inches. Here's the other half of those neon tetras for the Tetra Special. Buy 4 more, get 25% off. And here are some glass cats. Love the way you can see all the way through them, kind of rainbow look through them. Oh, yep, here is one more discus. Who are you? Oh, look at that. This is a red turquoise discus. Always get the 3-inch discus. People ask me, why don't we get the cheaper ones? Can we go down on price? No, we don't get the little ones because they're too much work. If you want the discus to do really well, they require a lot of work when they're tiny and a lot of food. I find that when we bring in the 3-inchers, we change them every day, we feed them 3 times a day, and we get you a great product that you can walk away with and know you got a really good chance to get those 6-inch platters or 7-inch platters you're looking for. If we get little ones, the chances of you having that experience goes down dramatically. So we try to make sure you have your best opportunity to actually be successful with them. These are the common whiptails, or the Colombian whiptail, I'll call them. What was the scientific? That's Ignimani. Oh boy, forget it. It's a Rhinoluricarius species. My Latin is not going to work today. But that's it for this part of the order. We have some more coming. And we're back. Let's see what else we got in store this week. Should have some fun stuff in here. A few fish. I think some pond plants this week. Let's take a look. First thing out of the box is some koi. Nice looking. Mixed batch of 5-inch koi, so not tiny. Got some snails. Got looks like some mystery snails. That looks like more mystery snails. And some crabs. These are supposed to be vampire crabs. I see one. It's a mixed group though. There's some red claws or mandarins. All little same group, so they should cohab just fine. Very cool. Frogs, all kinds of things. Usually we expect fish out of the box. So far, we only had 1 bag of fish. Here's some fish. Some baby fire eels. Got a batch of these last week, sold them out right away, so we got another batch. Looks like one's really tiny in there. Don't normally get fire eels that small. Itty bitty Oscars. Remember, those are monsters in the making. Those guys can be 14 inches plus. They can be an absolutely enormous animal. More snails. Looks like some Japanese trapdoor snails. And here we have some rams. These are the electric blue rams. Nice looking, tiny but nice and bright blue. Gotta love those. All right, let's see what's in the big box. In the big box we have... Oh, here's those plants. This is water hyacinths, a nice group of those. First ones of the season, we'll get those outside. Hopefully they will take our frost early in the year. We might have to protect those inside for a day or two. See, we got 30s coming up the next couple nights. Here's some water lettuce. They look good too, so nice. Shrimp to go with that. Let's see. In the shrimp zone, we have some red Ridley shrimp, which are really cool. And then some red cherry shrimp, which are really nice too, but not really Rillies. Here we go with more shrimps. We got blue shrimp to go with the red shrimp and the Ridley shrimp and red crystal shrimp. So we're really stocked with really cool shrimp. And that's it for those boxes. We'll be back with some reptiles in just a minute. And we're back, and now I got a little box of reptiles. Lots of really cool stuff in here. Let's jump right in. First thing out of the box are some geckos. You know I love my geckos. These are crocodile geckos, all that bumpy skin there. A couple other common names for them, but very cool little communal gecko. Love those guys. Got different sizes, some really big ones. Some spiders on this order. These are itty bitty jumping spiders. They're probably bolds of some sort, definitely not regals. Some cute patterns and nice looking, not tiny babies. So happy to have those at a pretty good price. Here's a whole bunch of itty bitty babies. I don't carry a lot of baby bearded dragons because baby bearded dragons get to be big bearded dragons so fast, and I prefer to work with a little bit bigger ones. But we got in a mixed group of fancy baby beardeds for a very attractive price. So there's those guys. Let's see. Next up is some frogs. Lots of frogs on this order. Kind of restocked a couple different varieties of frogs. This is a bronze Mentella. I haven't had bronzes in a year or two, so happy to offer those again. Bronze Mentellas are one of the less expensive Mentellas, but super cool. Kind of diurnal. They look a lot like leaf litter if you have them in your bioactive enclosure. We got several of those. We ordered 3 different types, got 2. Here's a green and black Mantella, and if you look at their belly, they have little blue spots on their belly. Super, I don't know if you can see it there. Super attractive little frog. Bronzes and green and blacks, got a nice group of both of those guys. Let's see, here's not a Mantella frog. This is a Pikachu Pac-Man frog. Got a group of Pac-Mans in, fancy colors. Got the Pikachu, got the blue samurai. Oh, look at that, nice teal color to him. It's very cool. I got another variety too. Let's see, green apple. So green apple, samurai, and Pikachus in for a pretty attractive price on the horn frogs. And let's see, that's more Mantellas. Gotta love our Mantella frogs. Not a frog. This is a gecko. So geckos and frogs today so far. This is a Standings day gecko, one of the most attractive day geckos in my opinion. Standings got that green-blue color to them. Beautiful, beautiful animal. Not available that often, but when we get them for less than $1 million, I try to get them. More frogs, and he's wide awake. This is a red-eyed tree frog. For obvious reasons, they call them a red-eyed tree frog. These are imports, not captive bred. Nice price on those guys. Nice sizes on some of them. Got bags. You know, whenever we got bags, it's going to be something cool. Let's get in here and see what it is. All right, in the bag, green and spiny. Look at you. This is a varicoses chameleon, or a green spiny chameleon. They get a couple different color variants on those, but typically their other color besides green will be kind of a lavender and gray split top to bottom. So beautiful, beautiful animal from Madagascar. They're one of the lesser known giant chameleons. You're just gonna go hang out right there. It's like, I don't want to go back in the bag. Okay, you can go right there. Just don't leave, okay? There you go. We got your bag right here, buddy. A nice place to hang out. Let's see, more bags. Got another chameleon here. Oh, he's like, I heard that, another chameleon. We're stopping right now. Chameleons don't like other chameleons, that's for sure. Sometimes I wonder how they reproduce in the wild for their utter disdain for being anywhere near another chameleon. Okay, there's that guy. Let's get this guy unwrapped. Always makes for a longer video when I got to fumble with wrapping to try to get them out. Let's see here. It's an interesting way he tied that. If I stop talking, I can actually edit the video and shorten it up for you, but then again, maybe you enjoy the suspense. All right, who's in the bag? It's even better than what's in the box. Oh my goodness, that is a gorgeous chameleon. This is an Ambelobe panther chameleon, big male, gorgeous. Look at all those reds. Beautiful animal. I don't know how well you get to see him in there. I'm not going to take him out because we already had the great chameleon escape once today. We had a chameleon get loose in the shop one time, so we left the door unlatched and he took off. And you would think, well, where could they possibly go? The dude was a long ways from where he started and trucking the other way and disappearing all along the while. All right, what's in here? This is, this is not a chameleon. This is something we've never had here at the shop. Always wanted one. Do you see what I see? That is a varnis or a monitor lizard, one of the lesser available ones, not a particularly big one, maybe 5 feet total size, so much smaller than most of his cousins, not a dwarf species. So this is the Argus monitor. Very, very cool. Very neat markings on them when they're young. They get a little bit more like everybody else when they get a little older, but very neat varnis. Monitors are not for everybody. Having enough space and being able to afford to feed an animal like that is definitely not universal, but that is definitely a cool animal. All right, another not chameleon. Let's see who's in the box here. Here's another animal. I've never owned one of these. I've thought about it a time or two and just didn't think it was the right time. And they've been increasingly available, and with good care, they're not impossible to keep. Come out so we can see you. A name like that, maybe I shouldn't reach into the bag, but this is a Cayman lizard. He's like, no, I don't want to come out. Look at that face. The red on the face, green on the body. Beautiful, beautiful animal. So another very, very cool lizard that I decided to bring in this week because I can. Everybody ought to have the opportunity to do stuff just because they can. All right, that's one more bag to look at here. Let's see who's in this box. This is actually a repeat of somebody else we already had, so the suspense is already off. This is another panther chameleon. Oh, wait a second. Suspense is always on when it's a chameleon because you never know what the color pattern is going to be. Very, very beautiful animals, generally speaking. Yeah, he looks a little bit on the stress side. He's pointed the other direction. Is he going to give us a look? Yeah, it's another male panther. Can't really see his pattern. Oh, easy, buddy. Oh, yeah, he's got a nice pattern, too. Being a little bit jumpy. We'll got him go back to rest there. They're typically more than a little bit stressed out from shipping, so we'll give them a break, get them hydrated. So they look like they came in very good shape. This particular shipper does a great job of making sure their chameleons are well hydrated before they send them out. So back to lizards, not chameleons, not monitors, not geckos. Look at that little snout. These are Egyptian sandfish. Egyptian sandfish are actually in the skink family. That little snout like that works like a shovel, and their big wide paws, 5 fingers on them. Those guys are incredibly good at disappearing in the sand. You drop them in the sand and they will swish under like they're diving into water. They're just super, super fun to watch them do that. More frogs. This is not a frog. This is a snake. The only snake on this order. This is blue-eyed Lucy. High white pied is what they said. I don't see anything but high white. It looks like a blue-eyed Lucy, but they tell me there's some pattern on it somewhere. Nice price on a beautiful snake, blue-eyed Lucy, plus a little bit of pied action going on. And anything else? I think the rest are red-eyed tree frogs, mantellas. red-eyed tree frogs and mantellus. So that's it for our box of super cool reptiles. And thanks for checking it out and staying with us. We'll see you soon.